video, I want us to really have a chat around value. Like, what do you use to measure your own value as a person? What's your measure? What's your guide? And I asked this question because a week ago, I had a conversation with one of my colleagues, and she was just quite overwhelmed with everything, at work, the environment she was in had kind of put her down so much, and I felt like it made her question who she was as a person. Now, I understand that situation very well because I have definitely been there, where you just feel so lost, and then you ask yourself, like, who am I in this moment? Like, what do I do? And if you've been through different transitions in life, you've definitely had a moment or two that is similar to this. Let's say you're like having a baby, a new marriage, a new relationship. We tend to ask ourselves a couple of questions in those moments, like, how do I deal with this? Because you just feel like maybe I don't measure up. But the measure usually comes because we are definitely measuring against something. So you're either measuring against your friends who are already doing something and they seem like they're succeeding way beyond you, or sometimes you're measuring yourself based on like a certain standard, like in the world at the time. Probably, all people by 25 are married. Probably, anyone who is like 30, they are successful, they have the money, they have the cars, and it gets you to question. So one of the things I have found really helpful for me has been to figure out like what determines my value for me. And it takes a while for you to take away determining your own value from, what we expect from you, because with social media right now, it's so difficult to not measure yourself against people. So it definitely takes a while of soul searching for you to figure out, like, what determines your value, where you want to go, and who you want to be. And I think for me, one of the things that are really helpful truth is there is so much relief and comfort in finding your value in faith. Yeah. So if you believe in God, like me, I feel like it helps a lot with just kind of giving yourself direction, that with everything that is happening around you, it's quite hard to have. Let's say if you're feeling challenged at your work, if you're feeling down about yourself, it's quite difficult to, even if someone spoke to you like in that moment, it's quite hard for you to trust them and believe them in a way that is going to get you back to feeling confident about yourself and to be yourself again. But there's something about faith and there's something about God that just really changes each and everything. Yeah. One of my favorite verses is Psalms 32:8, and it says, "I will guide you to the best path of your life." And I think for me that's kind of representative of what faith can do for you, because it literally guides you to the best path of your life. Best path doesn't always mean it's like all roses and nice and calm and everything is always going fine, but it definitely means that you will have guidance. Yeah. And even in those moments, in the waiting, when you're trying to figure out where do I go next, who am I in this moment, you kind of have a guide to ask questions to and to rely on to for information. So the beauty in that is figuring out what is your measure. And I don't want you to think about the people and whatnot, all that stuff. Like, I want you to think about a measure that is really deep inside you, that is not going to be affected by what's happening around you. If you have your friends, or if you don't have your friends, if you have your family, or if you don't have your family, you need to have a measure that's kind of consistent for you, but it also needs to be very, very practical. Yeah, because this is something you're going to always go back to for advice, and even in those moments, those dark moments when you need help, you can always go back to that. So for me, faith, I feel like it's quite liberating in the way that it really gives you a sense of purpose. And even when you're feeling lost, it can help you to get back on track. So what would I tell someone who's just going through a moment right now, who's asking themselves those types of questions about their own value? I would say step away from everything for a minute. Yeah? Step away from everything for a minute, because in the moment it might be very easy for you to listen to what everyone is telling you. You may be thinking about all the bad things people have said, and they're going to make you forget any goodness about yourself, because you've stepped so deep into the negativity of everything that is now impossible for you to think of anything any other way. So I definitely say step back from everything a bit, and then just go on a moment to heal yourself. And healing is not like a one-day process, but it's really like a journey for you. So that means you have to be very specific about what you're taking, what kind of information you're consuming, because you're working intentionally to build yourself back, to build your confidence back, to build your energy back, to make sure that you get back to that person who feels valued. And feeling valued is really more of an inward work than outside, because by the time people value you, you've already shown up with a lot of value with yourself and by yourself, and you exude that already, and people have nothing else to do but to give that to you too. So yeah, pour into yourself information that, guys, the internet is so rich with information. You can literally ask it anything. Yeah, so be very specific in your questions. You can really ask, what do I do if I feel empty? How can I build my confidence back? Read up all types of things, listen to people's stories, how they have been able to get through dark situations, how they've helped themselves to grow, and use that information to build yourself back up. The more you immerse yourself in positivity, and if you show yourself stories of people who have been able to make it out of situations, it also makes it more and more positive. And when you're able to get yourself back, when you're able to get your value back, one of the things you need to make sure of, don't let people be the determinants of your value. You need to be your own, be your own measure for your own value, and always set the bar a little bit higher. You don't have to always be waiting for people to ask you questions. Step into who you want to be by yourself. Otherwise, if you wait for the opportunity for people to give it to you, for you to be the person that you want to be, you're kind of going to be in the same situation, waiting and waiting for someone to spot you and be like, okay, she has what it takes. So before people have that kind of energy towards you, before people think that you have what it takes, do you think you have what it takes? If you also don't believe it, then definitely no one is going to believe it. So I think one of the things I want us to really be intentional about is just to work on ourselves and work on our value system, and to make sure that our value is really rooted on the inside of us, so that you can step into rooms and people can literally feel your energy and know that you know who you are and you're confident about yourself. Otherwise, every time we step into rooms and we're questioning ourselves and we don't even know who we are, then definitely people are also going to question us. Even before we say anything, they'll spot you from a mile away and they'll definitely feel like, no, I don't think so. So choose a value system that is really consistent, that is not going to waver. It's not based on worldly standards, not based on people. And two, build yourself up and make sure you're who you want to be. Always. I'll leave you with one saying. I'm going to leave you with one saying: to stay ready so you never have to get ready. So don't wait for moments when you have to apply for a new job, when you're stepping into a new situation, for you to show up like that. Show up like that any day, every day, because then that's how opportunities are always going to find you ready, and you'll be ready to take over the world. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you stick around, watch more content. I like to make content that really just makes you think a little bit about yourself. And most importantly, I want all of us to be living a life that is fulfilling, and a life that you found value in this video. Then definitely give this video a thumbs up, and make sure that you stick around and subscribe, and make sure you tell a friend of us. Thank you guys for watching. Until the next video.